Good evening everyone, welcome to another tournament stream. Today we are streaming the last day of the round robins for the professional tournament from the Asia server from the spring season. That is quite a mouthful. Hello everyone, let us go here. We don't have a room invite yet, but it will be along shortly, and that gives me just enough time to take you to this tab where you can see that it is a pretty close event here. The thing is that depending on the games today, we might be looking at a 5-way tie. That is not really how we want to see it, and I honestly hope we get different scores than that, because it's gonna break my brain trying to explain who is through if we get a 5-way tie. But we will see, and we'll try to cope with things the best we can. There is a room, let's go straight there. We are starting, well, not actually starting, we are showing Feast versus HLV today. Basically, if you want to watch E7 versus ID, you need to go to Fugit's channel. And if you're on the Asia server, you need to watch this through the portal. That is my stream, that is, because my stream is the coin stream today. And that basically means you can get coins for just watching. There's a total of 15 coins today because there's only one round, so a lot shorter stream as well. But we'll see how things are going. I apologize in advance for any brain derps that I might have. I'm trying to wrap my head around a 5-way tie. And I honestly hope, like I said, that it doesn't actually come to that. But with plenty of minutes left to go, we are starting off on Dynasty Spril. Dynasty Spril looks like this, yeah. 3 bases, base A in the heavy side, base B in the middle. Basically a super heavy part or a very fast tank. It is difficult to cap base B, but if you get away with an early cap before you can get murdered for being there, it can make a very big difference in the overall score in the game. And of course you have base C, which I like the positioning of myself, but in tournaments it is a little bit more difficult to basically predict where people will go, because it's a tournament game and that means they can go anywhere with any tank, because they're a team and they're sticking together and all of that. But we do see quite some super heavy action overall on this map, and like I said, it will be fun to see what they do, especially with all of what's depending on this. So let's take away that map so that's not blocking your screen. We have plenty of time left, just over 3 minutes actually before we go into the game. HLV is still missing a player, but Feast is completely readied up already with 3 IS4s, a 140, a T22 medium, a mouse and a 113. Now, of course, you have probably noticed that Feast's name is Wargaming. I have explained this before, I shall do so again. Basically, Feast is protesting the fact that Wargaming at one point is making it a bit pay to win. And that is mainly to do with all the premiums and collectibles, collectible tanks that are in tier 10, where you basically have to get really lucky or be very rich in order to get them, like the T22 that Bruni is sporting right now. And on the other side, with the last update, we actually had Wargaming removing, or removing all the boost spots, which basically means that if you try to boost into a spot that has now been blocked off, you are driving into a wall. So hence the name, it has a double meaning and it actually works quite well. So 2 minutes left to go before we go into the game. Mugu has unreadied now, potentially to change the line, well, not tank, but potentially change camo or loadout or some such. So let's see. In the meantime, HLV is now completely ready too, though Sarazu has gone offline, and they are ready with 2 140s, 3 IS4s and 2 mice. The thing is that with mice, they can be quite tricky to take along, because yes, it provides a lot of armor, but at the same time it also gives you a bit of a weakness, because your team will be literally slower for it, and it will be very difficult for pretty much anything to get them anywhere, basically. In a map like this, because Dynasty Spril is a very small map, it can work out that, which is why we generally do see super heavies here. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what they do with it. I just noticed, by the way, that I've not done this. That should actually look better. There we go. Bit wider screen. Thing is, you still see a border around the whole screen and everything. That is because I am limited to a one screen laptop, and there are limits to that, quite literally. So that is why you always see quite a bit border around my games and everything. I can't do anything about that unless I get a much better setup, and for that I would probably have to win the lottery. So that ain't happening anytime soon, but we'll see. 20 seconds left to go. Saruzu is still offline. He's been moved out, and now one of the 140s is basically an IS4, because in 10 seconds you don't know if it's going to be back online, and at this stage, especially with everything that is riding on it for HOV, they really need 7 players. But here we go into the first game of this night, in the only matchup that we'll have tonight. And let's see. It is quite a different lineup when you suddenly have one medium less though. So that might be difficult. It's probably not what they had in mind in any case. So let's have a look at where they're gonna go. It would help if I would actually be able to load in. There you go. You can see that not everyone is talking on voice. And let's go up and away. And we see Feast focusing on the seaside, and basically HOV doing the same thing. Heading towards this side of the map. Position overall is better here. We have the T22 and the 140 going in quite aggressively. Wanting to get that cap early. And no, actually, only Mugi is capping. We have Bruni that is actually holding, seeing who is coming. And that might prove difficult, because now they're both in a position you don't really want to be in. Mugi kind of needs to not be there instantly. Feast has a nicely defensive ring here though. And if the mouse pushes in, which is what he's doing, oof, he does take a hit there. And now we have Bruni moving in at the back to shoot the mouse. This is something that is difficult though, because overall you do not want a mouse to be your primary target first, even if you see the backside. CX being absolutely hammered here, not angled very well. The mouse still losing HP at the back. Basically there's a brawl all around already. Maddox is being ignored in favor of trying to take out CX. No, they're actually turning around to deal with Maddox instead. Lots of low HP targets on HOV's side, but they do need to take them out in order to make it work. CX is the first gun to go out. Maddox now facing off against 4 people. Crossbone, Vanguard and Boa Sorta have been taken out. There goes Maddox, instant deletion. And it is 5 versus 5. HP wise it is very close. And we have Feast going after Enjoy Solo. Frost taking a hit. And there we go. Enjoy Solo is gone. Frost is the low HP target here. But they're not really focusing on him. They're focusing on everyone they can. Now HOV is starting to focus fire. And Bruni pulling away is actually gotten Frost killed here. So this 4 versus 4, but I'm a Blitz slave, is actually, oof, quite low on HP as well, and facing off against the mouse, which is not making it easier. There he goes. The 140 is being chased by the 140 and the T22 medium. And Bruni has been taken out. Papi is still alive, but the mouse actually takes him. Sleeping Lion not looking too healthy. But the mouse and Mugu are focusing on 7-7 instead of... Ooh, they need to be careful though. Because they can't afford to lose Mugu at this point, because he's the only one with speed. Miserable now moving in. Not sure why 7-7 stopped moving there. Let's actually get a little bit closer here. Miserable now facing off, doing the damage. Taking some too, but he is a mouse. And Feast is already at 720 points. Mugu getting some cheeky shots in. And now, every time the IS-4 has fired, That allows Mugu to get another shot in, and this is probably not going to work out well for Amdonna, because he might be able to get a hit in. He doesn't even. That bounce, and now we have Miserable arriving at the rear and taking him out, and the first game is for Feast. And yeah, if you watch through the party, you will get coins for this. There's only 15 coins to be had today because there's only one round. But look at that damage. It was relatively close. At one point it was more chaos than any focus anywhere. But overall, it was a fun game. And now Sarazu has come back. And we now see that HRV is taking 2 140s, 2 113s, 1 IS4 and 2 mice. They're going for more DPM, but they are basically giving up armor for it. And they're going to go up against 3 IS4s, an STB, a Sheridan, a mouse and an E5. So that's also a very different lineup from Freeside for this map. But having one victory in the bag already, that does give you a little bit of a breathing space, so to speak. So let's see, just over a minute left to go before we go into this second battle. Hopefully Sarazu's internet trouble are like definitely over and not starting again soon. Because that would make for very difficult gaming. Of course there have been lots of lags and issues. And Wargaming keeps insisting that it's on the player side and not on their side. I find it particularly hard to believe that you will have like 10 people in one game having the same lag issues and then it's being their internet when they're in different countries with different providers and different devices and everything. But yeah, that's just me. Half a minute left to go before we go into the second game of this best of 7. The only best of 7 that we will see today because there's only one round, as I've said. And depending on what happens, we might have a 5-way tie on our hands. So I'm really hoping for that reason alone already that Feast will take it home. Because that will make it one less thing to make my head explode when I try to explain who's through after all the games. Let's see. Second match. STB is an interesting choice though. It is not a brawler tank. It does have the spotting range and it does have the gun depression to make ridge lines work. But generally what we see, especially in maps like this, is a lot of brawling. So then the STB is a interesting choice, to be fair. It is a sexy tank though. To me the STB is still pretty much the most gorgeous tank in the whole game. I dislike the adamant camo though, so the legendary camo does not work for me. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll get another one like the mouse has doubles as well. Now the STB going up, Sarazu and Mugu spotting each other. And this is the thing. The STB can work that position quite well. Bruni has gone into base B. CX is crossing behind. And might get shot by a mouse if he crosses over. He's definitely waiting for it. And we see the first shot going in and base B has been kept. Bree now retreating. Whereas Sarazu is moving around the back. And Papi has gone to the middle. Tiny bit of HP damage on that on Baba's sorted there. Frost getting hit from the middle, but does take it, does shoot the mouse there. The 140s in the middle could potentially be very dangerous, and Feast will have to make a move. Oh, that is a big hit. But now we have Sarazu arriving. Mugu moving in the way, taking that shot. And we see the IS-4s at the back. Bits of HP being lost all around. And now we have Feast making a push. Going after the guns. Sheridan has now reloaded. And he wants to go after the 113. 113 has been taken out. Sheridan is also always going to risk to take. Not so much. Oof, that is big hits into the 113s. And even though Muga has been gone, HOV has now lost 2 tanks. Papi not looking too healthy either. I'm trying to show you all, but I'm a bit blocked by the edge of the map here. Boa's sort of not looking too healthy either. Thing is that, in this case, Sleeping Lion has just been killed, but it is a 5 versus 4. And basically, Feast is spread out in a way that they can take out tanks together. Oh, CX just got pretty much wrecked. There goes Boa's sword though, and it is a 4 versus 3. Brody still alive, basically running around. Wanted to avoid getting hit, shooting the ground with the missile there. Frost taking a hit there as well. Miserable now facing off versus 2 mice. That could be very tricky. And Feast is being a bit hesitant in their play, which is, of course, versus a mouse. Yes, that can happen, but you have to be careful with it. And there goes Sarazu. And now it's 2 mice left versus 4 guns. And even though Frost is not looking too healthy, that is a big gun advantage. Bruni has been taken out though. But Enjoy Solo is steadily losing a lot of HP. And Frost has a nice... Oof, he still gets hit though. This could be very tricky. But with that shot, Frost could potentially... No! Is he trying to HE the mouse? Oh my lord. That is... Okay, so we have one mouse that rammed himself to death on another mouse. And we have an IS-4 that tried to HE a mouse. Okay. So now it is 3 versus 1. Crossbone Vanguard does not have much of a chance here. Especially not when he's angling to face the mouse, but in that case takes a hit from Maddox. And they're all arriving. Frost might die for it, he does. But at this stage, Crossbone Vanguard is definitely not going to win this versus 2 tanks. Because, yes, in randoms it might happen and you might get all those troll bounces. But the thing is that you are facing not just random players, you're facing Feast. And here we go. Feast gets the second game. In the meantime, Kiwi is shouting, "Let's go Legion" in the chat. That is kind of the wrong clan and the wrong server, but okay. Overall though, again, this was a relatively close game. So we are moving on to the next map now. We are going to Port Bay. Port Bay looks like this. You have 3 bases, 1 in the harbour, 1 in the city square and 1 in the hills. Overall, I love the position around the hills so much better. But again, with a team you can go pretty much anywhere. And we have seen some super heavy action on this map as well. To basically hold base B for the most part. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. Because we do see those super heavies being taken right now. So I'll take away the map so that's not on your screen anymore. I always check, double check to make sure that it's not on. And we see that Feast is now ready up in an E100, a Leo, 2 IS-4s, a Sheridan and 2 mice. So that is some mobility to run around in, but a lot of super heavy as well. And on the other side, we see the tanks are being changed quite drastically from what we saw last game. We see an IS-7 arrive at the scene, haven't seen that much this tournament season. And let's see. Enjoy Soda needs to decide what he wants. And there you go. HLV has now readied up in a Sheridan, a 140, 3 IS-4s, an IS-7 and a mouse. Or maybe not. He still has 20 seconds to... No, he does stick with it. To basically choose a tank for definite and then see. The pressure is not really on just yet. It is a best of 7, so the team that reaches 4 victories first is the one that is going to take home the points. And all the points are very vital at this stage. Like, it's literally the last point yet that you can earn. And HLV, basically, if they do not win this, they're pretty much out. But let's see. Into the 3rd match of this matchup. I still can't get over that 8 HP HE damage on the mouse. Or the ram kill, or at least the ram suicide by the mouse straight after. Let's see. Overall though, games like this are generally so much fun. And I absolutely love commentating tournaments. Because basically you get the pinnacle of the base of the server that you are that you're commentating on. It can't really get better than that. Yes, literally speaking, it could potentially, but overall, yeah. So we have Enjoy Solo going towards base B as expected. One medium. Let's see. There you go. 7-7 in going into camping position. The rest of HOV. Oh! The rest of HOV heading towards base C. Papi spotting. Missiles flying both ways. And we have the mice in the middle for Feast. My camera is derping a little bit again. Feast holding in the middle. Ooh, we see another missile flying, and that actually hit Boa Sorte. HOV now moving into base C. The Leo at the back though. And we see another missile flying, and that one actually bounced. They keep trying though, and they could potentially lose a lot of HP doing this, and that is very tricky, because there we see that is 6 HP HE damage. But still, nice bounce by Starazu there. Base A is being kept. They are spotted though, and could be in trouble for that. But we are focusing on this side. Another missile, another bounce. Miserable losing a little bit of HP. CX moving in here. And all of HOV is moving in. And this could be very tricky for Feast. Because it is 5 guns versus, well, actually 4 guns depending on where they are. Frost taking a hit there. Mugu has been spotted. And CX taking hits. Basically HOV is moving in. Feast is spooning back to regroup. But they're not in the best of positions. And they're quite not sure what CX is doing here. But he is being very, very forwards. And that could be a very big risk. Boa sort of taking a hit for being there. This is something that you don't want to be in though. This position. Not with this many tanks. Yes, Feast has to move in order to get anything done. And big hits into Crossbone, and he gets taken out straight after. The rest of Feast is arriving. Bruni is basically running off. Taking a massive hit from the other Sheridan and almost dead now. And now 7-7 is the next target. Bruni is still alive but barely. Miserable arriving, taking out the 140, but Bruni has been taken out as well, as has Mugu. It is 5 versus 5. The Sheridan is nicely hidden behind there. We see Madonna. That's probably not the name. Madonna. Facing off. CX almost that being taken out straight after. Frost as well. And it seems that HOV is pulling it back towards them. And one of the issues here is that basically Feast is a bit chaotic here. They're not really in the best of positions. They've sort of gone into a crossfire line. Sleeping Lion aiming for the Sheridan. But he's not going to survive that. And Boa Sorte is still alive. No idea what Maddox is doing. He is actually climbing up. Which in this case is probably not going to serve him well. Boa Sorte has been taken out. And Maddox has to make the shot count. But he can't. So he has to focus on Enjoy Solo instead. As Papi is running off. And now they're wasting too much time for this. Miserable, not looking too healthy. And we see a missile flying. It does not pan. And that is so important at this stage. And now they've sort of given up on trying to chase the Sheridan. They're just focusing on Enjoy Solo now. And that is, I think, a good call. Because as long as they survive, that is the important part. Big hit into Papi there. And another bounce by Miserable. Very well played this. And now they're sort of sandwiching Enjoy Solo now. And there we go. Miserable is gone. Missile literally flies over Maddox's head. But we are at 760 points. He does take a hit there. He kind of has to be careful. As long as he doesn't get missiled. But he does. He might have this. And Maddox is losing too much HP here. He should not be up there anymore. 820 points. If he survives, for another 100 points or so. He could have this, but he needs to be careful. And he needs to see if he... Well, now we see Papi going after base A. He is going to prevent Feast from getting more points. And he's not going to be... Maddox is not going to be able to shoot that. Ooh, barely though. He almost got him there. 905 points. He now has the choice. He needs to... Ooh, my camera... Stop! There we go. He's going back into base C, which is a good call. But he has to be careful. 910 points. He needs to survive. That is a very dangerous shot to take, because now he's almost got the base. And he does. This is quite the game. He just needs to survive. He needs to be wary of the Sheridan who is going to come up behind him. And now we have a mouse that is pushing, but he might not arrive in time. And if Papi peeks out and if he is destroyed, it is the end for HOV. Now we have Enjoy Solo pushing in. And will this happen? Will he make it? That missile though. Oh my god, they did it! What a game that, guys. Very well played by both sides. There were mistakes on both sides. 6.7k damage for Enjoy Solo. 4.6 for Papi. What a game. Excellent. Oh, you can't really be disappointed when you get games like that. This is exactly why I stream tournaments. When you get messages like this, it's just beautiful. Let's see. 1.5 minutes left to go before we go into the next game, the fourth game of this matchup. Again, no real pressure yet. The team that reaches 4 victories first is the one that gets the point. And in everything, just with the way that the standings are in the Asia server, things are pretty intense. And we see Feast is now readied up with the pretty much same lineup as last game. With the E100, 1 Leo, 2 IS4s, a Sheridan, and 2 mice. Versus a Sheridan, 3 IS4s, an IS7, a mouse, and a T22 medium. So this is, like I said, these are kind of the games that you do it for, really. That was so close. Just awesome. But also clever gameplay, because I think though, if Maddox had actually gone down before, gone for base C earlier, because the moment that you saw the Sheridan drive away, it was clear what he was going to do. And I think that he really hoped to get that blind kill. But that is a risk. That is such a risk to take. Let's see, countdown clock has begun. And here we go into the fourth game of the matchup. Hello everyone that's watching, by the way. There's a 5-minute delay on the stream, so anything you say in the chat, you hear my reaction to 5 minutes later. So that is why I generally do not really react to the chat. Whew. Nice pink tank here. Pink camo, best camo. And here we go. And we have HOV focusing on the C side of things this time. Feast doing pretty much the same thing, but the mice and going more into the middle. The Leo going into a camping spot. And we have Papi already having been spotted and already taking a shot. Pulling back. And Sarazu moving into position to cap base C. And that missile actually hit the ground, but it buys them a little bit more time. The mice going into the middle. Papi still there, unable to hit Bruni. Base C is being capped now. Base A is being capped as well. But HOV will have a point advantage. We see a missile fly way over and missing by the skin of his teeth, basically. CX still moving in. Getting spotted by Enjoy Solo. Shots exchanged. But it kind of means that Feast is now giving up on base B, and that is a dangerous thing to do. Brody trying to get those trick shots in, but it's not really working out for him. Enjoy Solo hitting Maddox as he crosses back over, pulling back a little bit. And basically Feast is holding where they are. Brody trying to blind shot with the missiles. They're hard enough to control as it is. Still very adamantly against missiles, mind. They should not be in the game. Let's see. Bit of a stalemate game here. Both sides basically just waiting for the other side. HOV has the point advantage, so they don't need to really do anything. Feast will have to be the one that takes action somewhere. And basically I don't understand why they didn't take base B, because now HOV is in much better positioning to react if they go for it. But like I said, Feast will have to make a move at some point. Not necessarily for the tanks, but at least for a base. Enjoy Solo all alone there. We saw a missile fly but not hit CX. Some blind fire going on. At this stage you know they're there, but you don't know where. Miserable at the back. Enjoy Solar has been spotted, and now we see CX actually taking the shot, whereas Miserable is moving in. And base B is being taken. Sleeping Lion taking quite some damage there. The mice capping together, they won't both be able to be decapped. And now HLV is pushing towards one side. CX is pulling back, Miserable is pulling back. HOV is pushing, Boa sort of taking some hits here. Bruni moving in to take a massive chunk out of Boa Sorter's health. Frost being absolutely obliterated here. And there he goes. Boa Sorter still alive, but barely. Mugu running off, as he should, because you don't want to be here. He does take a big hit though, and another one. And he is in trouble, as is Sleeping Lion. Enjoy Solar is taking base B. Base C is being kept by Bruni. And they need to take out the guns. Boa Sorte has to be taken out if they want to win this. But no, they're not focusing on him at all. They're focusing on the Sheridan. And now Mugu has been tracked. He does not get that hit in. And Feast has already lost 3 guns now. This is definitely HOV's map. Not even the game, just map. Because now we have Papi going after base A. And pretty much safe there. Boa Sword is still being able to do damage. Maddox getting basically sandwiched. Miserable going into the town. He's going to town, haha. And we're already at 1k points for HOV. And HOV takes this match. Again! Very lovely game. Very well played by HOV. But these games are kind of, well, probably very long actually, but I quite like that. So we are moving to Fort Despair now. Fort Despair looks like this. You have 3 bases. Base A out in the open, base B a bit protected, and base C a lot more protected. But this is again a super heavy map, and what we generally see is basically super heavies protecting base B, whereas other tanks are going for base C. Base E is generally ignored until you know for sure that there's no campers at the back. And that is basically it for this map. It is small. It is of course the map where we saw Raid push the tank into the where they pushed the grill into the lower right corner. I'm not sure if that's even possible anymore now with the walls that Wargaming has put up. And with 1 minute left to go, we are ready on both sides, and HOV is sporting 4 IS-4s, 2 mice and an E3. That is a very heavy lineup. And they're going to go up against 3 IS-4s, a 113, an STB, and 2 mice. Again, a very heavy lineup overall. And again, no real pressure yet. After this match, though, there will be. I believe just Winterfox just said in the chat that E7 versus ID is currently 2-4 versus 2. So that's also going up quite nicely, same as this one. But quicker games, because, yeah, that streamers also has delay. But oh my god, guys. Games like this, love it. Here we go into the countdown clock. And then we'll see what happens on this 5th match of this best of 7. And here we go. And that heavy lineup though, it is a small map, but it does overview some weaknesses as well. Because generally it's the mats that have the DPM to carry the games, and in this case the 113 and the STB. Of course, 113 is also it's not a medium, but it does have the DPM and it does have lack of armor, and instead has mobility. So yeah, let's see. Here we go. The mice heading towards the middle there. All of Feast heading towards the A and B side as well. C being completely ignored by both teams. The IS-4 is heading towards the corner. Bruni going to spot in the STB. This is what you take an STB for. Because he remains unspotted, but he spots everyone going over. Papi bouncing those shots. And basically, STB in that spot can be brilliant, but it is a difficult position that they've got themselves into. And we have the E3 taking a similar position to the STB, so he's not in the general camping spot that you would expect him in. And they have to be careful. Sleeping Lion steadily having his health eaten away. As does CX. Base B is being kept by the 2 mice. Miserable moving in front. Taking the hits to avoid CX taking any hits, and they're now abandoning base B to basically move in and to try and take out the mice. Sleeping Lion not doing too good here. He actually has to pull back in order to have his team help him. The mice moving in. Sleeping Lion has been taken out. There goes Crossbone Vanguard in his E3. And now they have to work together. Boa Sorte, next preferred target versus Mugu and Bruni. But this is the thing. He will take another shot before he's dead. Frost has been taken out. And there goes Boa Sorte. Enjoy Solo is almost gone. They need to make all the shots count here. Enjoy Solo has been taken out. And now, HP wise, HLV has the advantage. Gun wise though, Feast does. And we need CX has to survive. Maddox trying to take base B, but this is something why. You don't need to do that. Mugu has been taken out now. Base B has been kept, but at what cost? It is 4 versus 4. We have 7-7 going after CX. CX still alive but taken out by Sarazu's moments after I say that. It is 3 versus 4. Bruni arriving. Sarazu not getting panned by the shot from Bruni. And in this case it is so important that he does so, because he's not looking too healthy either. Maddox is losing too much HP. Sarazu has been taken out. Maddox is a one-shot. Miserable can't angle towards all tanks. And they're not shooting the same targets. This is basically... They don't really have a choice, to be fair. But this is HLV taking it home because of the fact that Feast is not in the best of positions. And they basically gave it away. The uncoordinated push got them a shot in the rear so much. Base B now being taken. Miserable angling quite nicely. Bruni at the back. And steadily they are destroying the mouse. Not sure why Madonna is not just moving behind the mouse. He seems to want to go after Bruni though. And now we have Miserable moving in for the mouse. Leaving Bruni alone. And this is, again, this is a risk you don't need to take. Miserable takes him out though. Bruni is almost gone. And Bruni has to stay alive. He has to run off. And Papi is there waiting for Bruni. Bruni is still alive, just don't ask how. Base B being stolen. Bruni still alive. And he has to be very careful. Miserable now getting shot from both sides. He needs to be careful as well. They're not in the best of health, not in the best of positions. And Miserable. Papi is waiting for him, just waiting for him to. Miserable is almost gone. He is pulling back now. Feast has the base. Bruni needs to not be there. But it is very close, and now Miserable has been taken out. Oh, that not panning though. And now Bruni is a one-shot. Papi is not in a position to be shot at. And now base B has been taken, and it will be very difficult for Feast to take it. And now Bruni is going around the back. I Madonna anticipating that. And going into a position. They probably think that he will go after base C, because that would be a logical thing to do. But now he has been spotted. And there he goes. He does get not hit in. But I Madonna anticipated it right. And takes him out. And now the pressure is on. Because now it is 3 versus 2 for HLV. And Feast has to win the next 2 games in order to take it home. Whereas HLV has to win 1 more. And like I said, we are looking at a potential 5-way tie for Asian server. And that's going to be worse. Basically, Feast, before we know the score of this game, can end up in anywhere of the 2nd place of the whole scoreboard or the 5th and 6th place. It can go anywhere between. So that is saying something. 1 minute 15 seconds left to go. HLV has readied up with, again, well, basically same lineup as last game. 4 IS4s, 2 mice and an E3. And they're going to go up against 3 IS4s, an E5, an STB and 2 mice. And again, it is tricky to see what they do with this, really. Honestly love it though. I mean, from a streamer's perspective, this is like the way that you want things. From a player's perspective, I can imagine that this is not that much fun. So let's see. Half a minute left to go before we go into the game. Hello everyone that is watching, by the way. I hope you guys are enjoying these games as much as I am, to be fair, because these games, they are fun games. In a way, Asia is always a little bit behind the other servers. The competition is not as fierce as we see in other servers. But when it's relatively close like this, it is lovely to see. And here we go, countdown clock. Into the 6th game of this best of 7. In the meantime, we sort of have a Legion raid in the chat going on. Hello boys. Praise be to the donut. And here we go. I always love how my game freezes at this point, but as long as it freezes here and not elsewhere, I'm fine with it. So let's see. HLV moving towards the middle, base A and B again. And we see basically Feast doing the same thing as last time. The thing is that if you do the same thing on both sides, you could potentially be doing something very predictable, and that is dangerous as well. And you see immediately blind shots going there, just not penning yet. And Bruni gets a free hit, but then he has to be very careful. And now it's Muga in the middle. Bruni immediately taking a shot. Crossbone Vanguard just arriving there. Not quite able to make it work. Bruni turning around. We have the mice basically going in towards base B. Frost moving in as well. All of these except for Maddox is in the middle and pushing over. And that could be very, very dangerous because they're exposing themselves quite badly to the guns that they're trying to take out. Boa Sorter is almost gone though. He might be taken out. There he goes. But Bruni has lost quite a bit of HP for it. And they are ignoring the mice. Going after the E3. Frost taking a hit. And Crossbone has been almost taken out. There he goes. Frost taking him out. He is taken out straight after though. But that's the first gun from Feast to be gone. I Am Madonna. Almost gone. The mice chasing after everyone else. I Am Madonna. Miserable wanted to ram him to death, but it's actually Steepling Line that takes him out. Sarazu facing off versus CX. That's not going to do him any good. And now it is 3... Hang on, there you go. 3 versus 5. Maddox not too healthy. And we see Mugu moving in to help him. And shooting the ground. 7 getting a shot in the back quite badly. Maddox still alive. Still surviving. Despite that shot. Miserable not looking too healthy either. But it is still 5 guns versus 3 guns. And now it's 5 guns versus 2 guns. With Papi in a very bad position. Maddox might not survive this. But at this stage, oof. And Joy Sola actually misses that shot. And now it is 5 versus 1. And he is steadily being destroyed quite fast. And here we go. Miserable. Keeping him disangled basically. Angled improperly. And Feast takes it home. And now we have a tiebreaker. Utterly love that though. Like I said, from a streamer's perspective, this is epic. This is how you want your games to be. And we are going to Middelburg. Middelburg is a very tricky map. You have 3 bases, 2 in the city, 1 in the hills. Overall, the positions in the hills are so much better, but you have 2 bases in the city, and that could make it very tricky, because the city is not easy to hold. So that is the map. I'm going to take it away so that it's not blocking your screen in any way. Dun 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 dun. 1 minute, 20 seconds left to go. I'm actually genuinely excited at this stage. And we have HLV taking a Sheridan, a Mouse, 1 IS-4 in E3, a T22 medium, a 215B and a 140. So that is a very different lineup to anything we've seen so far. And the first 215B that we see today. And they're going to go up against 3 IS-4s, a 140, a Sheridan, an E5 and a T22 medium. With this lineup, I do expect Feast to grab base C and then push city. The trick is, will their heavy still be alive by then? Because that depends on how hard HLV is going to be pushing. So let's see. Half a minute left to go before we go into the game. And we just have to be that a little bit patient for this final match of the round robins for the Acer server. "15 seconds left to go. Funny thing is, I've been streaming for almost an hour now. Of course, I start like relatively early and also because of the delay and everything. But still, it's only 1 round and we're already 43 minutes into the actual, into the games. And I like that. So let's see what's going to happen. It is so close though. And this is the weirdest thing about it. Like I said, Feast can have any position from 2 to 6, depending on what happens in this game. Or depending on what happens today, I should say. So let's see. We have all of Feast heading towards the hills, except for the Sheridan, who is going to go into base B. We have HLV basically abandoning base C, but most of them are going hills after all. Base B and base A are both being camped. Base C is actually being ignored, which is funny. Did not quite expect that. Mugu seeing who is there, but no one is actually being spotted. But they will know at this stage. Now we have Sheridan, Bruni heading back towards the hills. Mugu not spotting anyone there. Sleeping Lion knocking down a tree. And you immediately see the blind shot. This is something to take note of. If you knock down cover, you betray your position. 7-7 wants help. Sleeping Lion is in a very tricky position there. But now Feast has the base advantage. They will have a point advantage. The trick is to keep HLV from getting their base B. Because now they're all in the hill. HLV is pulling back towards the city. And that is a very tricky thing. Because now we see Pappy moving towards the middle. Going towards that base B. And HLV is now going for base B. And that is very dangerous for Feast. Sleeping Lion not taking any damage from that. But Feast now has a tricky thing up their sleeves. Well, a tricky scenario. Frost moving in. But he is alone. And that is very dangerous as well. Immediately taking quite a big hit from the mouse there. And they need to grab base B back. They can't afford to let HLV keep it. So now we have Frost there. The rest of Feast still in the hills, but able to come at a moment's notice. Frost has to be careful. He needs to get the base and needs to get it safely. 7-7 in a position to shoot him, but he doesn't. And 7-7 is moving forward steadily. Potentially wanted to get that base C. Base B. Frost meeting a building. And we have the mouse now moving in. Unable to grab it. But he does take a hit for it. And now we have 7-7 moving in. And basically this is a game for the battle of base B. We are already at near 800 points. Bruni at the back is in a position to spot them all. And as long as they keep base B to themselves, they should have this. But that is the tricky part, because right now they're not getting any points for base B. And Frost needs to decap it. In the meantime, we see brawl going on at the top. I want to show you everything. I can't show you everything. Base B is being taken. Frost losing too much HP here. Feast needs to protect their bases. We are at 800, nearly 900 points. They are moving into Boa Sorte. They want to take him out. Bruni with his very light armor being very forwards here. Boa Sorte is almost gone. Base C is still theirs. The more kills that they have, they need like 2 more kills. 1 more kill to take it home. As long as their team survives. And there we go. Feast has it. What a game. And it was the battle of base B. And in the end, it was decided that base C. Love it. Wow. Absolutely brilliant games today. Damage so close, but it's about those 2 kills. Those 2 kills won Feast the game. Brilliant work. Absolutely brilliant. And of course Frost surviving also won the game. Oh my god. That was absolutely brilliant. Let's see what the scoreboard says, because this is... Oh wow. Because this is the thing. Anything can happen. ID has won. So that is actually helping for against the tiebreaker stuff. Because let's have a look. In total we have ID now with 5 points. Feast has 4. So they're going to have 5. So that means that the top 3 is pretty much set. ID 5 points, Feast 5 points, and E7 5 points. Then we have Noob that has 4 points. And let's see what happened with RN. RN won, so I think that's also 4 points for them. Yes, it is. Like I said, this is going to break my brain. But the rest... No, this is actually very simple, because it's RN. versus NOP. That is deciding the... We do not have a 5-way tiebreaker, thank God for that. We actually just have one tie. And that is RN versus NOP. And that will depend on who's won between them, and that was RN. So it should be RN that is through, and not NOP. So that means that the top 4 is E7, ID, Feast, and RN. So that is, out of all the outcomes, from a do not break my brain perspective, this is the best perspective. So let's see if they agree. It does not show, yeah, after the teams are drawn, blah, blah, blah. We know that. But because this is not updated yet, so let's actually wait and see if we can get it updated. But the games being so close doesn't actually mean that we don't have to wait for all the games. Come on. There we go. It's still not updated, but yeah. It's not actually waiting for anything because all the matches are no. But basically ID 5, E7 5, Feast 5, Noob and RM both 4. And the rest 3, 2 and 0. And with RN winning from NOP, it should be RN that is through. So that's actually a lot simpler than it could have been. So thank God for that. But yeah, that is it for me tonight for the Acer server. You should you should have your coins by far if you started watching at the beginning of the stream. There were only 15 coins to be had today because it was only one round, so nothing I can do about that. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you all for the games, really. The team, well, Feast and HLV that we saw, because they were lovely, lovely games, and those are the kind of games that I really want to see. I'm just kind of hoping that, like, it will update the chart. It still hasn't. But I think... No, actually, Feast has 4 points. It doesn't have... No, actually, they should have 5 with this one. 1, 2, 3... Yeah, there we go. 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 5 points. So the chart just hasn't updated yet. Basically, when things don't work as they should, it confuses me. But yeah, that is it for me tonight. Thank you all for watching. Thanks HFU and Feast for the lovely games. It's definitely been fun tonight. And I will see you all in the final stages with E7, ID, Feast and RN. Good night everyone. Take care, stay at home, stay healthy, stay safe and all of that. And I will be back in about 7 hours for the EU server. And hopefully see you then. Bye bye.